Hey, your viewers and viewresses, my name is General Red Strattist and welcome back to So You're Being Hunted, episode 499. We are on a new map because we're doing something different, ladies and gentlemen. Now, thing is, I'm kind of throwing in the towel on the old balloon experiment because, to be honest, we've been at that, for quite a number of episodes now and just haven't really had any success with it. It just hasn't really worked for us, so I'm putting it on the back burner. I mean, if we get the chance to jump on the balloon at any point, we'll do that, but in the meantime, I think it's time for us to actually move on and do something completely new. So, welcome to a new challenge. That friggin' farmstead has generated a bit weirdly, but never mind. So, customised central island here, which I've made quite hilly and craggy. We are doing what I like to call the Congregation Challenge, ladies and gentlemen. This is basically a challenge where I am role-playing as a priest. I have to find myself a church, I have to lure as many robots to it, and basically hold a nice big mass in which we're going to pray to the gods of So You're Being Hunted, which used to be Big Robot, but today is now Den of Thieves and all that. But we've got a church actually already over here. Is this the one with the hole in the roof? I think it is, isn't it? It is the one with the hole in the roof that you can actually go into. Yeah, it is. So I've just got to figure out, can we sort of climb up anywhere? Now, as you can hear by the fact that there is a rider, I have customised the robot generation rates. Shit. I need to watch out, he's very, very close. Is he in the woods somewhere? I think he is. Where is he? Here, around somewhere. Where'd you go? Has he gone off over there somewhere? I think he has. Oh, he's there. Alright, never mind him then. That's fine. So, what was I saying? Yeah, that's basically the gist of the challenge, ladies and gentlemen, as I just laid out there. So I think we'll make this our church. So the idea is I have to sort of get up there and then find a way to sort of lure all the robots over. I've got weapons to defend myself if need be, because, you know, I'm like a gun-toting, deep south Bible-bashing priest for this one. Look at you two up there. You're probably stuck, aren't you? But yeah, like I say, I've maxed out robot... Well, no, that's a lie. I haven't maxed out the robot spawn settings, but I have made them so that they are all spawning in limited numbers straight from the get-go. Alright, so we've got to go and find supplies first. That's what we've got to do. I'm thinking this is just going to be like a one-episode challenge. It's not timed, but like I say, I'm only going to do it in one episode. My god. There's an interesting generation. This is what I do love about So You're Being Hunted. Oh, god. Oh, hi there. I forgot about you entirely. Oh, look at that crane down there. It's just spawned down here. Oh, wow. Wow, it's actually got a canal going through the bottom of this thing. So you can get canals and cranes in custom biomes and all that. Wow, that is quite a cool sight, that, isn't it? Sort of a canal at the bottom of like this gorge with buildings up along the side of it. I don't think I've ever seen something like that in So You're Being Hunted before. I know you're up there. You haven't seen shit, bud. Okay, he's deactivated, that's unfortunate. Wow, is that crane... crane's generated in the hillside? Well, that makes climbing on it a whole lot easier, doesn't it? I'm kind of tempted just to fuck with the rider a little bit here, because he probably won't be able to get me if I sort of climb up like this and then lure him over. Here, oh, careful, oh god, don't get stuck. Well, you always get something new, don't you, with the old terrain generation in So You're Being Hunted. That's a first. Friggin' canal gorge in there. What a friggin' interesting generation. Sounds like an escape route, this. If you're being chased from this side, you can just climb along here, jump over there. Jump over the chasm. The old chasm, ladies and gentlemen. There's a friggin' rider. Yeah, he's moving out of there, isn't he? Unless I just do this. Heard that balloon bottle going down there. Can't get me, bud. Aha! You're in a bit of trouble, aren't you, lad? Are you stuck? I don't know. I think he might be. I think he might actually be stuck. Because he's not moving from that position. Oh no, wait, no. He's charging very, very slowly. You know, we once did an experiment, didn't we? Was it possible to land on the rider? And just let him sort of carry you along? I don't actually know. Nope. I'm over here, mate. Fuck it, I'm going to experiment. YOLO. No, that's not a thing that you can do. Okay, hold on. Right, just get him out there. What do you mean that item doesn't fit in my inventory? What are you talking about? Oh, he's got more rifle ammo. That's nice of him. Lovely. Okay, there's another rider closing in. Oh, jeez. Well, see, it was worth actually ditching the balloon experiment map in favour of a new one, wasn't it? Since we found these interesting generations. This strange set of little wooden piers that are now glitched into the terrain. How lovely. Oh, Canal Gorge. Alright, go up here then. Let's do what we actually came here to do, ladies and gentlemen. Namely, acquire supplies, formulate congregation. Ah, torch, that's perfect, that's just what I want actually. Alright, stick that on, get plenty of food, because we're in it for the long haul, and by long haul I just mean this one episode. So you guys out there are all doing well, and you're looking forward to seeing how this congregation challenge goes. We'll see how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure it will go absolutely fine. In which case it probably won't go fine at all. I'll probably balls it up at some point. But, you know, speaking of actually that subject of church, I remember actually people have asked me about, you know, church in past Q&As, what my sort of views are on religion, things like that. And the thing about me is that, you know, I did go to a church school when I was a kid. And by church school I mean like a church primary school. So yeah, I mean I kind of grew up in what was essentially a Catholic school, or you know, grew up going to a Catholic school. I should not grew up in a Catholic school. You know what I mean. But the thing is, so you know, I always remember like on certain days, whenever we had assembly, there would be a priest in, and you know we'd have readings, things like that. You know, and the thing about obviously it being a church school was at the beginning and end of every day we would say the Lord's Prayer, stuff like that. So, you know, I remember stuff like that. I mean, as an adult, the truth is, I'm not a religious person. But, you know, my attitude towards it is always quite liberal. You know, as long as you're not kind of foisting your views on someone else, and you're not mistreating people, then, you know, you can believe what you want. Oh, shit. Leave them alone. Thank you very much. We're not ready to formulate our congregation just yet. But, yeah, so I remember, I can still picture the church that was next to my primary school, and I can still picture the inside of it to this day. In fact, I can still picture the various priests who were there over the years, from what I remember of it. I always remember the first priest that was there, at least when I was a kid, was this one dude who, as you can sort of, you can probably sort of picture the dude immediately, in the sense that he was old, white-haired, you know, old man. And the thing about him was, I don't really remember him too well myself, but my family have memories of him, and a few people in my family just did not like him, because he was very much like a sort of holier-than-thou kind of person, who could be very judgmental about things. And that's, you know, so that's the first priest that I can remember. I'm not going to name his name. I'd be surprised, though, if he's still alive, personally. I wouldn't be surprised if he's probably dead by now. But all I remember was he was there. He was the priest at that church for a number of years, and I think he went to Africa. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know if he went to be like some kind of missionary or something. So he went to Africa, and that was when he left. And then the priest who came in after that was, I can still picture him to this day. He was, I think, a lot nicer. He was a lot of a nicer priest. He was, you know, a lot more friendly and just generally a bit warmer, and not as like holier than thou and judgmental as the previous one. So yeah, I can sort of remember him, but I do have vague memories of him. Once giving like some Christmas mass, something like that. That I think we went to, obviously, you know, with our school one day. We sort of went there, and I just remember as he was giving this mass, he was like sweating really profusely down his brow. I think looking back, he was probably ill. There was something wrong with him. And I haven't really heard anything else of this priest since I left primary school. And I don't know, I would sometimes wonder if he had like a medical condition and maybe is now, you know, had to either retire from his profession, or heaven forbid, if, you know, God, he might even be dead. Like, there's a part of me that's wondering, is he dead? Because I seem to have a vague memory about a priest who died from my local area, and I'm kind of wondering if it was him. So yeah. Sorry, this story took a sudden, slightly morbid turn, didn't it? Okay, I'm just jam-packing my inventory with lots of rifle ammo. I think this is probably the most rifle ammo I've ever managed to accumulate in one video, which is quite something. Look at this, Cragtown over here, bordered by two big hills. There's a big hill. Let's see if we can get to the top of that, though. Alright, hold it. Well, yeah, sort of interesting thing about, you know, my family was that, you know, we used to be fairly religious. We're not really now. Because the thing is, my parents, you know, used to be Catholic, and, like, you know, their parents were before them. But, you know, going back to that, the priest I mentioned a moment ago, the one who was holier than thou and quite judgmental, he was the reason why my parents eventually kind of left the Catholic Church and actually decided to become part of the congregation of an Anglican church in my local area instead. And I do remember that Anglican one was just a lot more warmer and more welcoming. I think I may have talked about this before on Survey Being Hunted in a past Q&A, so maybe I won't go into too much detail about it. But, you know, as the years have gone by, like, I don't think my parents or really anyone in my family really goes to church all that frequently anymore. I think it's one of those things, I don't know, I wouldn't call my family particularly religious anymore. I mean, my grandparents, on my mother's side of the family, you know, maybe a bit more religious. They tended to go to, you know, church services on a Sunday every so often, and things like that. Well, not every so often, every Sunday, I should say. Every so often just makes it sound like a once in a blue moon kind of thing, whereas actually they were doing it, you know, weekly. But, yeah. But yeah, I've not been to, you know, the last church service I went to was probably my grandfather's funeral, which was last year. And before that, I probably hadn't stepped foot in the church, not as like a parishioner or anything like that, for fucking years. Obviously, I've been into, you know, things like cathedrals, but that's not as a parishioner, that's as a tourist. You know, going visiting cathedrals and exploring them, things like that. Because here's the thing, you know, I will admit, the thing is, my mother has always been into, like, cathedral architecture, things like that. And I remember as a kid, as a very young kid, whenever we would go on road trips, like family road trips, to various places in the UK, so, you know, like Wells, Durham, York, places like that, we would always go and, you know, visit the cathedrals, because they're, you know, they're great freaking examples of all, like, medieval architecture and history, things like that. And as a kid, I don't think I ever really sort of fully appreciated them. But as I sort of became a teenager and, you know, going into adulthood, I've become much more into exploring cathedrals, things like that. They're much more interesting to me. So, yeah, I really like them. And I've been to quite a few cathedrals now in my time. So, you know, York Minster, obviously there's all the ones I visited in childhood, like, you know, Durham, Wells, etc. Chichester now, Winchester, I've been to those cathedrals over there. I've been to a couple of cathedrals in London, St Paul's and Westminster Abbey. The thing is, you know, whether or not you're religious, I think a lot of people, you know, can very much appreciate cathedrals for just how marvellous they actually are in terms of their architecture and the history behind them, which is why I enjoy visiting them. You know, cathedrals, but in particular, you know, churches can also be interesting just to go into and have a look around as well, but cathedrals probably are even better just because they're so big, and obviously they have like all the different chapels and things in them, and sometimes they have like mausoleums and sort of underground sections where they have more sarcophagi and things like that. You know, crypts, that's the word I'm looking for. Alright, I'm on my church, and I'm wondering if it's time to start amassing my little congregation over here. See how many robots I can actually lure over. I've got a few bottles. I've got one alarm clock. I should have picked up more of them, actually, shouldn't I? What was I thinking? Let's eat that apple as well. Okay, let me frigging get my alarm clock first. We'll set it to like a full minute. Or shall we? I'll put it to like 5 seconds, it'll be fine. Alright. Stick it right on here, maybe? On this cross. Whoa! Oh, there it goes. Well, it's not quite on the cross, but it's close enough, I guess. Bottles, please. Parishioners, this is the equivalent of my church bells. Why don't you come over here? I have to put on my best priest voice. Now let us have a reading from St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, verses 48 to 50, followed by a reading from St. Paul's letter to the dodecahedrons, verses 69 to 420. Don't take guns into the church, dear fellow. We shall not spill blood on consecrated ground. We've pulled over a squire and 2 hunters. Looks like there's another parishioner off in the distance coming over there. Don't shoot the priest. What is this? The United States? Lord. Oh, hello. We've got the ultimate parishioner down here, along with his 2 dogs. They must be worshippers of St. Francis, of Assisi, or whatever he was called. We're coming in here. I shall stand on the top of the true cross. That's it, you glitch out down there. Excuse me. Please be reasonable. God said unto the landowner, Thou shalt nuketh thy roving human beings that stray into thine domain. Oh, yeah, okay. I guess they didn't like my sermon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's going to be the congregation challenge, I do think. Good lord. Well, that didn't turn out too well, did it? But that was just a fun little way to spend another episode. There wasn't really any real parameters to that challenge, it was just me fucking around being stupid. Well, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap up there. That was episode 499 of Syria Being Hunted with me, General Red Strategist. In the meantime, of course, with episode 500 coming soon, well, I say coming soon. As I'm going to record this, it's early August. By the time episode 500 comes out, it'll be later in August, so still a bit of time to get questions in for the Q&A and all that, as far as I'm aware at the moment. So keep them coming. You know, any questions that we do miss in that Q&A, we'll keep aside for a future Q&A and all that. So yeah, Facebook links down below, along with the links to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. If you enjoyed, leave a like and all that jazz. Leave your Q&A questions down in the comments if you want to. More than that, I'm signing off now. Goodbye, everybody. Yeah, that guy's got a dollar symbol over his head. He's also a new type of enemy that I've not faced before. So he's going to have a power-up on him. I think, if I remember correctly, it should be a new type of power-up. Okay, we'll have to do the information thing. What are you? You're a harmless soldier, apparently. Soldier is a ground-based weapon who spent all his time walking. An expert in camouflage, he wears a purple outfit to hide his varicose veins. Oh, what a joke. Have it. We've got a slightly different kind of weapon to the others. Ah, yes. New type of power-up, everybody. It's the shock rocket.
Enough with the costumes already! Doctors!
Shut it, Box. Right, basically,